Hello and welcome back, or welcome to our video series. My name is Sarah. My quarantine update today, stuck here in quarantine in San Diego, is this is my dog, Lana. Hey, Lana. Yeah, she has been keeping me sane, making me go for walks, keeping me exercising, and definitely keeping me entertained, and I'm very grateful for her. I hope some of you have some pets keeping you entertained and active and giving you lots of love in this time of quarantine. All right, Lana, I gotta get back to work. Do you want to go outside? You want to go outside? All right, let's see. All right, I am back and covered in white fur on my black hoodie. Um, Once again, my name is Sarah, and today we're going to be watching a video by my coworker, Steven. We're not going to watch the whole video. We're just going to watch the second half and dig into something about some educational stuff, specifically why. We're going to learn more about whys in the next episode, but this one we're going to start learning about why our videos look so much weirder than other code education videos, and we're going to talk about something called educational boxes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to pop up the video here, and we're going to get started right in the middle. As I said, go ahead and check out the rest of the video, the first half of the video. The link is in my description. All right, here we go.
Engineer that works with incredibly intelligent coders every day. I have taught so many people that I occasionally run into my old students just at the grocery. I spent graduate school designing multiplayer gaming environments where you can write code. Some of these took me months or even years to build. And what I discovered when I studied them in laboratories was you actually don't need a fancy sandbox like that to learn how to code.
All right, pausing there. I'm going to pop back up here. I pause the video every once in a while, just add my own thoughts and ask you some questions about it. So first, I want to talk about the word he used there, fancy sandbox, and just make sure we know what that means. When he's talking about fancy sandboxes to learn how to code, that could be some of the things we just saw in the video, like a game called Voxel, where they're able to drag and drop scratch blocks and interact with a world, a three-dimensional world. Could be a game like Code Spells, another one we saw there. Could be something like Scratch. A lot of these really fun, catchy game worlds that we create for students just like you, just like me, to learn how to code. But let's talk about that word sandbox. What is a sandbox? Place for kids to play in, right? It's filled with sand, tends to be of a certain size, and lots of opportunities to play in there. But let's say a kid, would you use a sandbox to teach a kid how to become an architect? Because they can build stuff in there. They can build a sandcastle, but can they take that sandcastle, take it out of the sandbox, not without making a mess? Could they take that what they learned by building that sandcastle, then go out and build a real castle? Probably not. Do they have the tools in that sandbox to build a real castle instead of just using the sand? No, they got sand, shovels, buckets, maybe some toys. So in all the ways that a sandbox has a lot of area to play, also can be limiting. And what Steven is saying here is that we don't even need those limits in that box at all, that really fun play area, to teach people how to code. Let's learn more, hear more what he has to say on that.
There are millions of people, just like me, just like you, who are stuck in a box right now and meditating on what it means, what it feels like to be forced into a box is the perfect time to realize that this isn't new. Every teacher you ever have crafts a box around you. As educators, we call them learning environments. And that's great. It's great that we have school to be there as a box that prepares you for the real world. When will I ever use this in the real world. It's a lament we hear from students all the time. It's a lament that goes back to when schools first started.
All right, I gotta pause here. That when will I ever use that in the real world? I have a story about that for me. I don't know about you, but that sounds tremendously familiar to me. Not only from the students that I teach, but from myself. I said that to my teachers so much when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, even college. Specifically, I remember asking that question about math. I don't know about you, but for me it was math. Why am I memorizing my times table? I have a calculator. This was even before smartphones, but like I knew I could always have access to a calculator. Why do I need to memorize this note off the top of my head? Why am I doing the same thing over and over again? It drove me crazy. And I'm sure I drove my teachers and my parents crazy by asking the same question over and over again. But what I ended up learning after all that was that I hated math. That's what I learned. I hated math. And because math is often, people who like math are often put on a track for computer science. People who are good at math are often put on that track. And I blocked math out. I didn't get into coding until after I graduated college. So that's an interesting story for me because if I had a different lens, if someone had given me an answer to why am I learning this, when is it going to be useful in the real world, maybe I would have gotten into coding sooner. Maybe my life track would have been different as opposed to starting to learn it when I was already in my 20s. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, though, keeping up. But still, there's so much I have left to learn. And I feel very behind when I think about all of you. I don't know what age you are, but everyone younger than me learning how to code. All right, we're going to swap back and hear the last of this video here.
What is this for? Why am I here? Why am I learning what I'm learning? How does this box I'm in relate to what is out there? Does it? But now that we are all trapped in our COVID-19 boxes, this is the perfect time to start talking about what it means to teach coding better, what it means to teach coding outside the box.
All right. Ready to do some coding outside the box? Well, actually, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be playing inside one of these sandboxes to learn about what might be waiting for us outside that box, thinking about the limits, what we can get inside those sandboxes, and what lies for us outside of it. All right. So we're going to go ahead, going to go back over here. We're going to go ahead to, here we go, to a window here. I encourage you to open up this game. So we're going to try a sandbox. This is something by code.org. It's created for Hour of Code, if you've ever heard of it, a day where people try to get everybody coding. So you can, the link will be in the description. It is studio.code.org/flappy/1. And that's going to bring you to a page just like this. All right, so we're on this page. You can just close out of the video. Let's play in the sandbox. I encourage you actually to pause this video and go play on your own, run through some of the exercises, figure it out, just play around with it. Because what I want to do here, so do that if you want to, now. Awesome. I'm going to play around with it myself. So it tells me my instructions here. Attach a block to the when click, attach a block to the when click block, then press run, click or tap the screen to move Flappy to the target. So I've got 2 blocks to choose from here, and if I want to move Flappy to the target, when click, flap, run. Yay! Okay. So it's kind of walking me through, and it's going to go on to 2. Okay. It's loading up here. Okay, so it gives me my, oh, it got rid of the block I had before, but it's giving me a new start. Now we've added some ground, okay. Attach a block to the when hit ground block, okay. And, okay. Okay, but I get the idea of the sandbox. One of the things I like about this, it's really clear, it tells me what to do. I feel good when I'm successful, it's easy. But let's start playing with the edges of this box. So I don't have a lot of options here. I can when click and when hit the ground. I can flap, end game, play, wing sound. What happens if I do this? What happens? Oh, that didn't do what I expected. I expected when I hit the ground to bounce up. Okay. Well, what about when click? I want to flap 3 times. Go 3 times the height. That's looking pretty similar to before. Is it? Let's see. Yeah, so, okay. Okay. So I've already hit a couple of blocks here. I feel limited with my creativity. There's only so much I can do. Some things don't quite seem logical. Like I'd expect when I have the when hit ground flap that it would bounce like around across the ground, like if that's what flap does, but that's not what it's doing. If I expected that if I had multiple flap blocks here, that they would like move differently. So that's another thing that I'm running into. It doesn't seem to be quite logical to me. Like it's not moving the way I would expect, which don't get me wrong, sometimes I code and it's not working the way I expect. But I don't really know because I don't know what lies behind this flap block, whether it's doing what it expects, what it should or not. The biggest thing for me here, okay, let's do it correctly and see if when I hit the ground, reset, let's see. Is that what it wants? Yay! Okay, the biggest thing for me that I'm running into here is how much is this like actual code? This is super fun and exciting. It could get somebody interested in code who's never coded before. But how much does this teach me about actual coding? Having done like a lot of coding, it's missing some really fundamental steps. As far as the people who actually Flappy Bird is a really popular game, really popular app, or was. So someone really did create this. And I can tell you right now, they didn't create it with something like this. There were lots of steps that this skips over. And that's purposeful, right? Because that's not what the sandbox doesn't include these other steps. The steps of designing the art, deciding what the rules of the game are, coding things like flap, what does it do, the animation and the structure of the game, what's the sound when it ends the game. It's missing all of that on purpose. We're just in this little zone. But it's blocking us out of a lot of other cool stuff we could be doing. Like, what if I don't want a bird? I don't have a choice to do anything but a bird. So this is just a little bit of an exercise on the limits of this sandbox. So that's it for this video. If you're watching this as part of Udemy, we're going to have you play with some more sandboxes and test out those boundaries there. If you're not, I just encourage you to start thinking about the educational boxes that we're in. How are they valuable? Because they do have value, but how do they lock us in? And how much do they help us move forward and really learn more and get to where we want to go, being a coder? All right. Until next time, I hope you all are staying safe and sane in your quarantine, keeping busy with coding, with your pets, whatever it is that you do, and then we'll see you next time. Bye.